Welcome back, team. In this video, I'm going to go over our Week 4 quiz. Let's get started. All right, team, so here we go. Week 4 quiz, question number 1. We are told to identify the slope of the line with the coordinates 0, 2, 1, 4. And the very first thing that I want to do is make sure if I'm doing this on paper by hand, of course, you know what I'm going to say. Show your work by annotating. Make sense of the problem before you even start to draw a solution or try to solve it. So it says identify the slope. Now we know that when we have 2 points, we can use the equation m is equal to y2 minus y1 over, that's right, x2 minus x1. And now what do we do? Well, since we annotated before, all we have to do is replace each of the x and y values from our annotations. And we'll use the second one for each of the x and y 2's that we see. And this first ordered pair we'll use for the 1's. So let's go ahead and substitute. M is equal to 4 minus 2, and then over 1 minus 0. We get m is equal to, what's 4 minus 2 is 2, 1 minus 0 is 1. Our slope here is 2. Question number 2. Use the graph to find the slope. So we know that when we see a graph, we can find slope by finding the values that show me the horizontal or the rise over the values. I'm sorry, that's vertical, not horizontal. The horizontal is the run. So I'm going to do rise over run, and I'm going to use 2 points to find my rise over run. I'm going to use that point there, and I'm going to find another place where the x and y intercept, like when they cross each other, like here, those 2 points. And I'm going to see what's the distance that would be vertical, what would be the distance between the horizontal points. Okay, so let's do horizontal first. It's 1, 2. Okay, and then vertical. How far is this from this point vertically? Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3. And so if 3 is my rise and 2 is the run, my slope here would be 3 over 2. Question number 3. What is the slope of the line represented by 2/3 x plus 9? Well, we know that if we have a line, we know that it's y is equal to mx plus b, and we know that that m is our slope. So when we're looking at a line that has numbers already plugged in for the slope and y-intercept, we can just see, oh, there's our slope. It's right there. It's 2/3. Question number 4. What is the y-intercept of y is equal to negative 2x plus 6? Now, since we annotated before, we know that that b represents that y-intercept. So in this equation over here, that's 6. Now, which one of these values has y is equal to 6? So if I annotate it again, all of these on the left-hand side, those are x values. All of these on the right-hand side are y values. This is the only one that makes sense. All right, team, so for question number 5, question says graph this line. And once again, I'm going to make sure I understand and show my understanding as much as possible. I know that this is my slope. That's going to be helpful as I try to figure out what my rise over run is going to look like on the graph. And I also know that this is my y-intercept, which means that the line, when I graph it, it's going to cross at -7. -7 is down here. So that's where I'm going to start off first, just putting the dot there at -7, my y-intercept. And then my slope is 4/5, which means I'm going to go up 4 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then my run is 5, and it's a positive 4/5. That means my line is going to be a positive slope. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be my next point. And all I need are 2 points to go ahead and start to graph. So I can go ahead and grab a straight edge and draw a straight line. There is the graph of the line y equals 4, 5, 4/5 x minus 7. Question number 6 says graph this line. Okay, so I'm going to do what I did before. I'm going to make sure that I annotate that's my slope. My slope here is -2. Uh-oh, that's a negative number. That means that the line, instead of it going up, having a positive slope, it's going to go down. It's going to be a negative. So I'm going to see a decreasing line. And here's my y-intercept. It's +5. +5 is where I'm going to start. And then if my slope is -2, it's the same as having a rise of -2 and a run of 1. So that means I'm going to go down 2 units, 1, 2, and then I'm going to go positive direction 1. So it's 1, 2, and here would be my next point. Then 1, 2, 1. I can keep on doing that if I'd like to, but I got my 2 points that I can use. Once again, use something straight like a ruler or a piece of paper or even the edge of a book. Connect those dots. There's my graph of the line. Y equals -2x plus 5. Got the first 6 questions down. We've got 4 more to go. Question number 7. Question number 7 says write the equation of the line that passes through the points 3, -8, and 6, -4. So we've got to do some work backwards here. Before, we were given the equation and we put 2 points. Now we've got to take the 2 points that we're given and write down an equation. So in order to do that, the very first thing that I have to do is find the slope. And so very first thing I'm going to do is find the slope. And you know that we can find slope using that equation that we used before. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If you need to, again, remember, show your thinking. Show that you're making sense of the problem by simply annotating. X is 3, y is -8, x here is +6, y is -4. And then just substitute. First thing that we want to do is find slope. So I have -4 minus 3, and that's going to be over 6 minus 3. Whoops, nope. -4 minus -8. And then here, 6 minus 3. Then -4 minus a -8 is the same as -4 plus 8, which would be 4. 6 minus 3 is 3. So now that I have the slope, remember that a line shows me y is equal to mx plus b. If I know that the slope here is 4/3, I can go ahead and substitute what I know of any one of these ordered pairs. So let's choose the first one. Say it's 3, -8. This is x, that's y. So if y is equal to -8, I'm going to place -8 on this side. My slope is 4/3. What's x for this ordered pair? It's 3. And then we don't know what that y-intercept is just yet. We have to solve for b. In order to do that, we've got to first multiply this and see what we get. So positive 4 times 3. Remember, 3 is the same as 3 over 1. That's 12. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus b is equal to -8. Okay, 12 divided by 3. All right, that's 4. 4 plus a number is equal to -8. I don't know what that number is just yet, but I do know that if I take 4 away from both sides, I'm going to end up with b by itself. 4 minus 4, this cancels out. What's -8 minus 4? It's the same as -8 plus -4. That's right, b is -12. So if I write the equation would be y is equal to 4/3 x minus 12. Question number 8. Write the equation of the line that passes through the points 2, 1, 5, -8. So just like we did before, very first thing I want to do is find the slope. Here, I'm going to use the equation once again. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I'm going to substitute for the values that I know. There's x, and there's y, there's x, there's y. I'm going to write down -8 minus 1. And that's over the second x value, 5, minus, what's the first x value? 2. So m is equal to -8 minus 1. That's the same as -9 over 3. -9 divided by 3. That's right, m is equal to -3. All right, so we've got m is equal to -3. So on my equation so far, I've got y is equal to -3x plus b. So let's take an ordered pair, substitute, and solve for b. So let's take that ordered pair 2, 1. So if x is equal to 2, y is equal to 1, what are we going to get? So instead of y, I would write 1. Just substituting here. Nothing too fancy. Instead of x, I'm going to write down 2. So now I've got enough information to keep on going. -3 times 2. That's right, it's -6 plus b. If I add 6 to both sides to get rid of that 6 here, b is equal to 7. So my equation of the line here would be y is equal to -3x plus 7. All right, question number 9. Question number 9 says, write the equation of the line. We're given y is equal to, we don't know what the slope is, and we don't know what the y-intercept is. However, yeah, actually we do, because the line, it passes through a point right there. What is that point? It's -5. So now we can just use rise over run to find the slope. So the next thing that I want to do is find another point on the line where I can figure out that slope, that rise over run. And in this example, I'm just going to go ahead and put a little dot on the 5 there on the x-axis, and then see if I can count correctly from this point to this point. That's 5 units. And from this point up to this point, that's also 5 units. So my slope is actually 5 over 5, which is the same as 1. And then finally, question number 10. Once again, we have to write the equation of the line. And we're given the form of the line y equals blank x plus blank. And once again, we see that the line goes through the y-axis right at a particular number. That number happens to be -6. I can look on the graph to see if I can find another point where the x and the y would intercept. And one such point would be right there. I can annotate as best as possible to show that there are 4 units from this point to this point, and it just goes up by 1. And I notice that this line, it's decreasing, right? So that's going to mean a negative slope, and that's something I can annotate too. This is a decreasing slope. So that means it's going to be negative. It's negative 1/4. So my equation for this one would be y is equal to -1/4 x plus -6. I hope that video was helpful as you complete your error analysis assignment on Google Classroom. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop a comment in Google Classroom and I'll respond to you as soon as I can. Thanks so much for watching.